and welcome to the Tuesday night principal call. I have a really big smile on because I get to introduce someone that I've known for years and years and just love him. So before we get to that part, we got some announcements. I'm sure they're going to pop up right now. Here we go. All right. Hope you're getting your act together. You got your plane tickets. You got your car filled up for July 16th to the 19th to the summer meeting at Atlanta at the Marriott Perimeter Center. Then there's fall, October 22nd to the 25th, same place in Atlanta. Winter, same place in Atlanta, January 28th to the 31st. And then spring, we're back in Clearwater at the Sheraton Sand Key Resort, April 15th to the 18th. The summer DE, this is an important one, but you shouldn't wait till July 1st. You got to get stuff done now, today, not tomorrow. So book your rooms. Let's get them all filled up and that we have to send people to other hotels. July 1st is the deadline. If you haven't thought about becoming a member, become a member. It saves you money. You're going to be somewhere 4 times a year. It's only $129 per month. Your associate is $65 a month, or do like I do. I pay for the whole year at once. Give them your credit card, you're done. You don't have to think about it. Let's do it. Okay. So, as I said, I had a big smile on because I love this guy. I met him so many years ago when he used to show up for the conventions at the Breakers in West Palm Beach. And I've just seen the chiropractor that he has developed and became a great server to our profession. He has a heart of gold, and I just love him. So without anything else I'm going to say, here is Dr. Neil Cohen. Take it away.
Mindy, thank you so much. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here on the program tonight. I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to share my heart. I go back a long way with DE. 1984 was my first DE. And I have to say, I have learned so much from Dr. Sid, from DE, that put me on a purpose-driven path that really led me to where I am today. The wisdom from Dr. Sid that I received as a young man, lasting purpose, the dynamic essential, all of those things I took to heart and realized that those were mindsets. They were action steps. They were paths that I could take that could not only fulfill my life, but there were things that were missing in my life from my upbringing. I didn't get the kind of lasting purpose love that a lot of people get from their family. We had struggles. We had tough times. There was a lot of interbulation growing up. And to me, that was normal. So when I came into the DE culture, it was like a breath of fresh air. And it still is. It really, as I said, it set me on a path that really created tremendous blessings for me. There's an amazing quote from Mark Twain that says, the 2 most important days in your life, the day you're born and the day you find out why. And chiropractic is the why behind what I'm able to do in life. It is an incredible gift of God's mercy to be able to deliver the chiropractic message to as many people as we possibly can. One of the wonderful things that we all possess is the inalienable right to heal, and that comes from God. And I'm so grateful for that. And chiropractic works with that inalienable right. So the question that I have for you out there, and obviously you won't answer me, but I want you to think about this, is where is your heart? Where is your heart of hearts? What are you thinking about when you are a chiropractor who has a practice, who works in a practice, who delivers a message of hope, a message of empowerment, a message of compassion, kindness, and love? Where is your heart? What are you thinking about? Because there are so many distractions that we are exposed to in this world. In chiropractic, one of the main distractions, and it's been this way for a long time, are the factions that we have. You have the principled faction, and then you have the other groups, and we tend to put a lot of energy on that. And I want to help you to understand that wisdom from God is really what chiropractic is about. God has given us this intelligence in our inward parts, and he calls that wisdom. And we have this opportunity to share the wisdom. Not everybody that we share wisdom with is teachable, and we must have a teachable spirit. And there's a good portion of humanity, and even within chiropractic, that's been hoodwinked. They've been duped. They've been deceived into believing things that are not true. And we have this tremendous opportunity to set the record straight with people. But how we do it, how we communicate the message, is of the utmost importance, because we are very excited as principled chiropractors to want to tell people what we do and why it's so wonderful and how great that it is. And some people aren't ready to hear our message in that enthusiastic way. We have to first build trust and build relationships up before we can really deliver the deeper things. And so I would encourage you out there, those chiropractors that are young, that are hungry, those chiropractors that may be a little bit older and are still very hungry, that you want to listen to people. Listen to people, because if someone is going to listen to you, and Reggie Gold said this, it wasn't me, he said you have to listen to them first. And we have this tendency to want to deliver our philosophical, beautiful, life-saving message before we even get to know someone and where they're at. And I think it's important that we develop a relationship with people, a level of trust where they're going to want to listen to us. They're going to want to follow us, because we have an entire profession out there of allopathic medical care, unprincipled chiropractic, that really has failed. And we are the answer to that failure. But we have to understand that people aren't necessarily ready to hear it the way we want to give it. So it's very important that we sequence our message properly. And the first way that we need to sequence this message is we need to make sure that people are empowered to know that they can heal. That is, it is their inalienable right from God that they can heal. We have to help them to understand that, because it starts there. Most people don't think it's from them. They think that it's something from the outside, whether it's a person, whether it's a pill, whether it's a therapeutic model. They think it's coming from the outside. And the problem even in principled chiropractic is that we have to understand that we can't think that way. We can't agree with that, but we have to love them through that disagreement. In other words, it's not my way or the highway. It's let me understand what you believe and why you believe that. And then perhaps I can share with you, what my thoughts are on that particular subject, meaning that they have to understand that they have the power to heal. Chiropractors tend to elevate the adjustment. It's really not the adjustment. The adjustment is the means by which people heal. They do the healing. We have this wonderful saying that, we move the bone, God does the healing. And sometimes I think we say that so much that we don't unpack it. We have to unpack it. It's not a bumper sticker that we put on the back of our car, or it's not just words that we put on our wall. God made the body, God heals the body. Now, he has given us the opportunity as chiropractors to deliver the adjustment. And hopefully, we're responsible enough to make a specific, scientific, objective chiropractic adjustment, because that is also an important part of what we must give an account for. Because chiropractic isn't something that we just do. It's something that we understand. It's something that we appreciate. And it's something that we deliver in the same way we would deliver a gift. We have a gift that we can deliver to humanity. And what's so cool about this gift is that we deliver the gift, but as chiropractors, we also receive the gift. And the gift that we receive is watching a life transform, watching a person go from position A to position B to position C. And it's not just a position, but it is a life-changing experience. And then we get an opportunity to share with them the importance of them sharing that message with others that they love. You see, I don't think it's an option to share chiropractic. I think that it is a definitive. I think we have to share it. But we have to know how to share it. We have to know how to build a relationship, build the trust, and speak the words that are going to give people the encouragement that will help them to understand that they need to be checked. That's another place where I think we tend to jump the gun. We always say, you need to be adjusted. Well, the truth is you don't know that until you check somebody. And I think that we have to start speaking more honestly and more truthfully. And to be truthful and honest, we have to say that we need to check people to determine whether or not they need an adjustment. It would be wonderful if we could check a lot of people and they didn't need an adjustment. That would be a phenomenal thing. But I think in the heart of the chiropractor, we realize that people haven't gotten chiropractic their entire life. They need chiropractic. They're probably subluxated. So we tell them, hey, you need an adjustment. But that's a little scary to people who have a understanding that may be right or may be wrong about what chiropractic is. Remember, people think chiropractic is about pain relief. That's what they think. And that's on us. That's really on us. It's not on them. That's what we've promoted as a profession, to be quite honest with you. They think chiropractic is about getting cracked, and that's on us too. We have to create a strategic plan to speak with one voice, and that one voice has to honor God. It has to be truthful, and it has to be what it is that we actually do. And what we actually do is we check and adjust people when necessary. And the reason why we check people is because we want to ensure and make sure that their nervous system is free and clear from any interference from their brain to their body. Extremely important, because the nervous system is responsible for every aspect of what a human being experiences. And we must ensure that the nervous system takes priority in the hierarchy of health. That's another area where we have not done so well. We have made pain and symptoms the hierarchy and the priority of health. You know why we've done that is because that's the patient's hierarchy and priority, and we've agreed with that because we don't know how to communicate the message in a way that's honest and that's truthful and that they can understand and actually appreciate. Reggie Gold was a master at doing this. He was a master. People would ask him, when am I going to feel better? He would say, how the hell do I know? That's the truth. We don't know. What we do know is how to locate, analyze, and adjust a vertebral subluxation. And what happens after that, the patient, the individual, the person who you're taking care of has to tell you. It's important that when we check people, we say to them, listen, you're going to need to let me know how you're doing. And I want you to let me know how you're doing in 3 months, in 6 months. And here's the reason. Because if you break your arm, you don't ask somebody how they're doing the next day. It's broken. It takes 90 days for that bone to heal. Healing takes time, but people don't understand that, and we have to become better at expressing that, and we have to do it with love. This is the principle, but we have to add love to the principle. And unless we do that, and we really want to connect with people, it's going to be difficult, because sometimes people are hard to connect with. They want what they want, and it could be frustrating. It could be irritating. They could come in when you're having a great day and they're just like, I just want an adjustment. That's all I want. And you're like, okay, we got to pivot here. Where is my heart, and where shall I come from to share with this individual that perhaps, and especially if they're a new patient, they may not be right for my office. They may need to go down the street. They may need to go to the joint, because really the education that we deliver as chiropractors, I believe, this is just me, I believe it's more important than the adjustment itself, because understanding why you get adjusted is even more important than getting adjusted. Now, that may create an argument. You may disagree that we should just adjust people, but that's part of the reason why people don't come back, is because they don't understand why they need to come back. They don't understand the profound negative effects of a subluxation or the profound positive effects of living clear and free from nerve interference. We are the only ones on the planet, and I want you to really understand this. We're the only ones on the planet that are specific at locating and correcting vertebral subluxation. Nobody else does that. And that's a pretty important responsibility. That's a pretty important task that we've been given. But yet we lose sight of that often because we want to see more people. We want to do it in an efficient way, but we lose out when we don't educate. So we have to educate people by empowering them with the understanding that they came into your office with everything they need to be healthy. That whether they have cancer or whether they have a stiff neck, Innate is on the job. Innate is on the job. Innate is making no mistakes. That God has given them this intelligence within them that is creating and recreating them at the best possible way that they can be recreated, regardless of what they come in with. Your job as the chiropractor is to find out if there's a subluxation there, correct it, and then they can do things better. because you're better off unsubluxated than you are subluxated. That's really the bottom line. And it doesn't matter to your body what the diagnosis or what the codified name of what you call it is. It doesn't matter. You're better without the nerve interference than you are with the nerve interference. And I'm going to share another thing with you that we tend, when we educate our patients, we tend to just give them a lot of information about chiropractic. I have to be honest, I'm not sure that's the right way to do it. I think that we have to tell them a few very important things, like what we're looking for. I think that's really important. We're looking for something called nerve interference or vertebral subluxation. That's what we're looking for. If you have that, I can help you. If you don't, we're going to say hallelujah, and we're going to have you come back on another day and check you again. So that's the first thing they need to know. And that really drives them away from the whole symptomatology thing. And symptoms are important, by the way, because they're important to the patient. They're important to the person you're taking care of. And they should be important to you, because that's the way the individual, that's the way the person coming in, that's the way the patient, the member, the client, whatever you want to call them. I don't want to get hung up on all that nonsense about what's right and what's wrong. You know, it's yes and no. And we're living in this world now where we're so marginalized and compartmentalized. Let's just talk truth here. Okay? They care about how they feel, and so should you. But the deal is that you're not dealing with how they feel. You're dealing with the interference that they have. And they should know every time they walk into the office what you're looking for. So at any given time, when an individual walks in your office, you say, hey, Mary, hey, Joe, what is it that I'm looking for today? They should be able to answer you and say, you're looking for a vertebral subluxation, or you're looking for nerve interference, or you're looking for that thing that is interfering with my life or my brain or my nervous system, whatever it is. That's the first thing they need to know each and every time they come in the office. And they also need to know that the goal is for them to come in and for you not to find it. You're hoping you don't find it. If you have to adjust every person on every visit, every day of every year that you're in practice, there might be an issue. There might be. I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying there might be. People should come in clear at a certain point. They should come in better. They should need less frequency at a certain point, in my opinion, if we are actually correcting vertebral subluxations. The second thing that patients need to know is how long their problem has been there. It's really not, and now again, I didn't say their symptom. How long has their problem been there? And we know as chiropractors, especially when we look at x-rays, that most problems have been there 20 years or more. And they should know that. So when they start walking backwards out the door, doc, should I come back next week? Can I go a little longer? Am I done yet? When they start asking those questions, you have to ask them, the question is, what am I looking for each time you come in? And then you want to ask them, how long did I tell you that problem was there? When you saw your films, how long was your problem there? And then the third question that you should ask them is, how long did we say it was going to take to correct? And here's the pièce de résistance. And once we get it corrected, let me ask you, Mary, how long do you want to keep it that way? I think that's really important, because they have to come to the conclusion themselves as to what chiropractic is. If you just tell them, yeah, you have to come the rest of your life, that doesn't resonate with people necessarily. They're looking for an exit, you know? So, but if you let them know that once you get it corrected, by coming, we can keep it corrected. And, you know, we don't want to get you to the place where you were when you started. So I would definitely consider getting checked on a regular basis. Doesn't that make sense, Mary? You know, and they're going to say yes most of the time. If they don't want to, that's That's their choice. As I said, you need to have teachable spirits in your life. People need to be receptive to God's wisdom. They need to understand they have a responsibility to their own well-being. And if you take a look at the world and you look at people, we can always tell who's going to a chiropractor and who's not. It's really interesting. If you want to really get a good view of who's going to a chiropractor and who's not, go on a cruise ship and watch the people on a cruise ship. There'll be people that are far younger than I am that are being pushed in a seat and walking with instruments and looking cattywampus, and they just have never had their nervous system checked, and the end result is horrible. And we know that. We have a opportunity to enlighten the world. We have an opportunity to comfort the world, to build up the world, to love the world, to deliver a message of life and of hope. Because the key to chiropractic is, yes, they come in with a health problem, but they really have a life problem. And it was said much better than I many years ago that it's really about, it's not so much about the subluxation being present, it's what the result of the subluxation is. And what it is, it's their life is actually slipping away. So when you're subluxated, your life is actually slipping away. And we have to realize that people that are getting adjusted, that's why we can say they have more life. They have more vitality. There's pep in their step. They're not on the medications that other people are on because they have more life. Life is what must flow through the nervous system. Life is what God gives us. When we have more life, we have more health. Some people have a lot of life without chiropractic, and God bless them. There's a lot of people that smoke and never die of cancer. God bless them. But that's not the usual thing. We have opportunity out there to speak with one voice and share the message. And I say it's high time we stop screaming and yelling at the other side, whether it's medical doctors, which we don't scream at them so much anymore. We scream at our own people. You should believe what we believe. Listen, not everybody's going to believe what principal chiropractors believe. Dean Santilli told me a long time ago, it's just, you're not going to get everybody on the same page. But if we get on the same page and we speak with one voice, we could be very powerful in this world. And when we have a practice that teaches people that they heal from within, that they came in with everything they need, that it's not us. We don't do it. It's God that does the healing. We move the bone. God does the healing. God gives us health. God recreates cells. We have to give the glory, the honor, and the praise to something bigger than ourselves. It's very easy to accept the accolades when you're a chiropractor. And there's a lot of chiropractors out there that are really longing for acceptance. We've been thrown out into the, I don't know, I've been a chiropractor a long time. I remember when we were hated by medical doctors and we were called this, that, and the other thing. And so there's this sort of desire in the DNA of chiropractors to be accepted. A medical doctor posts something positive about chiropractic and we all basically have an orgasm. Like, who cares? So he got it. That's great. Everybody should get it. It's like, we don't need to be accepted. When you carry the truth speaks for itself. It's self-authoritative. And we carry the truth. And when we know how to move a bone, when we know how to remove interference, we know how to find it, we know how to remove it, that's all we need. And that's what we do when we go on mission trips. And that's why they're so successful. We take the business out of it. We even take the education out of it most of the time, and we're just going, we're checking and loving people, and their lives are changing. That's what we need to get back to. That's where our heart needs to be in chiropractic. Because I have seen over the years, and this is a very sad thing, people in principled chiropractic, and you may know some people in principled chiropractic, they have literally been led away. They've wandered away. They've drifted away. They've walked away from the principle because there was something better down the line in their own mind. There was more money. There was more acceptance. There was something more. But there's nothing more beautiful than delivering a chiropractic adjustment and watching somebody's life change, especially a child. And I want you to know that I have a heart right now for children. I just had my second grandson. He was born on March 5th, and he'll be 3 months old, obviously. And I have a heart for children. I'm watching my son as a young father teach his almost 6-year-old, my other grandson, how to live under God's authority, how to make wise decisions. We were at Irene Gold's 90th birthday on Sunday, and it was interesting because they had all this food there, and birthday cake and all this stuff that wasn't so healthy. And they asked my grandson, they did, do you want some food? He goes, no, that's not healthy food. I don't want that. And I just love that because he's learning above, down, and inside out. And that's where we need to start teaching our children. And we've got some cool stuff happening in my life with kids. You're going to hear about it with Dr. D, Dr. Todd Defiant. We're doing Chiro Kids Connect. We talked to some of you at DE, and that's coming down the pike in the next couple of weeks, so get ready for that. I just released my second book. It's called Walking Ancient Paths, Living Centered in God's Wisdom. I'd love you to get that. If you'd like, it's on Amazon. Basically, it's a commentary on Old Testament Proverbs, which essentially shows you how to make great decisions and live wisely. And frankly, I don't come from glory. I don't always do it, but it's a beautiful thing to know that God has given us the blueprint, not only for healing, but also for living. And so I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be on this call tonight. I caution you and guard you. I want you to guard yourselves. In addition to guarding the sacred trust, I want you to guard your life in such a way that you become a better chiropractor every year from this point forward. No matter how many years you're going to practice, be better next year than you are this year. Don't be led away. Don't drift away. Don't wander away, and don't walk away. Guard the sacred trust, guard your heart, and guard this principle that we have, that we can deliver to humanity, that really can change the human condition. I'm in love with chiropractic. I love it so much. And I love the fellowship that DE brings and the people that it brings together so we can all learn from each other. We all have different gifts. We listen to the Judsons, the Liebermans, the Hendersons, the Martinezes, the Hedgelons, the Shores. I can, the Harding. I can name all the speakers. They all bring their heart to DE, and we can all learn something from each of them. So be teachable, guard your heart, and just continue to grow in the knowledge of chiropractic. And remember, I'm here for you. Get in touch with me if you need anything. I'm always happy to help, and I love and appreciate you all.
You gave us a lot there, Dr. Cohen. That's for sure. You gave us material for our lay lecture. You gave us material for us to be not waiting to next year to be better, but tomorrow to be better. You know, the thing that we all need to remember with each encounter that we have with people is we first have to see where they're at before we can give them what we have to offer. But we have to just walk that line all the time. It's so important that first contact. And I'm so glad that's how you started off with it. It was like, you know, we bring the light to the world, but we have to get the people to see their light first, that they can receive it. A great message for us tonight.
Thank you.
Really, I appreciate the heart that you brought to us tonight. Like I said, you were going to. So anything else you'd like to share?
I just want to say I thank you and amen and praise the Lord, because anything good you see out of me, we're going to give the credit to him. So thank you very much. And happy to be here and looking forward to seeing everybody at DE.
All right. I love you, Neil.
Love you too.
Have an awesome sleep.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day tomorrow. Use some of this.